Hello, hello. How are we all today? Let's get ready to rumble. Okay, what are we doing today? Painting. It's a Bizzle. How are you, Bizzle? Oh, it's a pleasure to see you. Hopefully you can hear me. First one in, I always end up asking, can they hear me? After a disastrous attempt of streaming for a while, like 10 minutes, nobody could actually hear me. So I'm hopefully we're coming in loud and clear. Yeah, you got me. Bizzle's got my back. Right, let's jump to the main screen then. There we go. How are you doing, Bizzle? Have you been enjoying yourself? Have you managed to get back into painting yourself, or are you still off that moment? You're going to be painting some mechs today. We're painting our little Battletech and our much bigger Redemptor mech. Well, throwing yourself into work, I suppose, is not the worst thing you can do, but do make sure not to break yourself. A big fan of Bizzle. I don't want him broken. What about you? It's freaking freezing where I am. Freaking freezing. It really is. I'm very much wrapped up here in my snuggies, as warm as I can. Keep my paints, keep my hands warm. You need to work on keeping a room warm. I find. Work on the rest of the house later, but we'll work on the room. So, what we're going to do today, we've got a few details we want to do on these little mechs. A couple of bits that I'm going to pick out in red, just to kind of highlight some in, just kind of the lasers. Not these are actually autocannons, so they're actually hard light rounds. They don't actually need anything. Hey, Emanog, how are you? But then the lasers on the big boy here. Fix where I'm looking at this thing. Yeah, so the lasers on the big boy here. You want to get them kind of marked in. And then if you see, if I got the front of the bases, I actually have I've done some white on them. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put hazard stripes along the front of the bases, just so it's very easy for people to look at them and kind of go, well, that one's facing that direction, or that one's facing that direction. So I'm going to use some modeling tape to do that. Yeah, I think multiple people in a house can help, but do they also leave the heating on? Because that can make a big difference. Because I know when I'm in my house by myself, I tend not to put the heating on. Right, so I don't normally do this, but I'm going to try this with hazard tape this time. Hey, it's a Corvus. So what we're going to do is tape these up. And then we're going to apply something to it. So there's two ways you can kind of apply this sort of tape to it. So either I can go ahead, I can try leave a perfectly symmetrical gap, or I can just actually put the tape directly against the other side of the tape and have that make a gap for you. Because if you put it up perpendicular, it should be exactly correct when you line it all up. Which I'm not particularly good at doing. Normally when I do hazard stripes, I do them on much bigger models. I do them on like things like Space Marine tanks, or I do them on knights, where it's a lot bigger. It's a lot easier to see. But not so much this time. Hopefully people didn't hear the sounds that just came in as everybody decided to text me in the world as my phone was on. So we're going to go black, yellow, black, black, yellow, black, yellow. Yes, we only need the two stripes to really work out where we're going there. So we're going to give it a go and see how we're doing. Yeah, old houses do not retain heat very well at all, which is unfortunate. But they often look pretty cool, so you know that's your offsuit. Do you know I've been tempted by that sort of transfers as well, as a striped transfers. But then at the same time, they seem like they're a bit of a bugger to put on. I am not naturally good at putting on transfers. This is probably why I'm freehanding a lot of my flames, and skulls, and stuff like that, just to avoid putting on transfers. Which is probably a bit of a silly idea, all in all. But a lot of places do custom transfers, though. I can see that it has some advantages, just not enough for me. You know, I also have trouble sticking with any one army or theme for more than 5 minutes, so it can also be a detriment that way. As Corvus is saying there in the chat, we are always learning. So I got myself up to Twitch affiliate, which was nice. Should we change the angle of the hazard stripes? We probably should have them all the same direction, shouldn't we? A lot of reverb echo in the mic. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know if I have anything else on there. As I said, still working through some of the tech issues, but I think Okie dokie, is that any better? Can we hear me now? Yeah, there we go. Is the reverb still there? We managed to lose that as well. Oh, it's good now. Great. Great. Okay. I was wondering if Hellman is real or is a bot. It's hard to tell. I was actually trying to chat to them, but apparently I was producing no sound whatsoever, which is a bit awkward. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Bizzle. Most generous of you. Right, so we're going to start with these. Do we think black or yellow? Which is going to be the easiest one to do first? It might be easier to do the black first and let that dry and then go over the yellow then after that. So if I take a couple of bits of this tape off and I put black in the remaining area, and then we can do that bit yellow, and then we'll have a big hazard stripe down the middle. Excellent. But I just think these might be just too thick. I think I might have to freehand these because the amount of space we've got is a bit too small. Oh, thank you again, Bizzle, for another sub. Most kind of you. There's no need for anyone to actually sub or cheer or anything like that. The follow's nice, but anything else, it's all greatly appreciated. But it's I'm mainly here to kind of chat and hang out with people and throw some paint on some models. Right, so I've looked at how small these models are, and even this is the smallest type of tape I have. We might try about trying to freehand on a couple of them and see how we go from there. So the idea with freehanding, I tend to find, is you put them at the angle you want, because then you can just do kind of nice, smooth drags down. What you want to do is just create even lines. Don't worry about filling them in yet. Just create the lines first, and then go from there. Well, thank you for the support, Biz. There's you being here is plenty support for me. I'm a big fan of it. But there's no need. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you for that. Oh, stretch. So I've got some sound effects coming that people can put in and shout. Um, and there's going to be some things that are going there. Morbo, who actually is more malicious, who is another streamer. He's one of my mods when he's available. He actually does voice acting work, and he's making me some things that people can use their points to to shout at people. Um, Emanog, who is my other moderator, also a streamer, well worth a follow. Um, if she wants to give herself a shout out, she can. Otherwise, I will have to do it in a moment. She starts acting all shy on us. How do we think about that for hazard stripes? I think that's reasonably straight on for freehand. And then what we'll do is when they dry, we'll go back in with the yellow on those. Yeah, I'm disappointing that the strips didn't work, but I just need to use them on bigger models. A bigger surface area to wrap them around. But it's no harm. So again, tilt the model at the angle because it's easiest to go from up to down in a smooth line. It's also much easier when you don't water down your paint to the point where it's just a grey blob. Yeah, so we need something for the point redemptions. We need to figure out a few ideas for them. If you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. Something to be a bit of fun. Just dunk the entire model in the paint. That is a horrible idea, and I don't like it. Although there is those army painter, I think it's army painter, do quick shades that basically come in giant paint pots, and you can actually dunk models in there. I'm missing what did Emenog do that's so savage? I mean, I know she's great. I just didn't see what she was doing to be great. Ah, the dunking, yeah. Yeah, Bizzle both loves and hates me, it seems. Wanting me to dunk models. How very dare he. Yeah, so I still haven't managed how to get sounds through my laptop without just repeating my own voice back to me. That's on my list to figure out for next week. Because then I'll be able to hear stuff like all the sound effects and things like that. For like follows and cheers and all that sort of thing. So otherwise I just have to look up and actually see them on the screen. And as any painter knows, if you're desperately trying to draw a perfect line on something, you don't look up as much. How is everyone doing today? What are we up to? It's Thursday. We're most of the way through the week. We are getting there. Where we're getting, I don't quite know, but we're definitely getting there. So I said, the Battletechs, we're going to put on this striping in the front. We're going to leave that dry. While that's drying, we're going to do the brush on dry brushing on the base of the Redemptor. and then get that started. So these then can dry a bit more, and then we'll do some other bits on these. Hey, Bizzle. Hey, Morbo as well. Welcome in, Chief. It's just talking up your sound effects. Where's my Marauder 2? Where is Marauder 2? If I leave the Marauder 2 in shop, will that help for you? There, just have him sitting there just to keep you company. Is there nobody within driving distance you can go visit, Bizzle? I know not of the English geography, so I have no clue where everyone is. I was very dubious about you putting jump jets on your Marauder 2. And then you started climbing on buildings and just shooting at people. And I was like, he's in his happy place. He's crushed a retail building and is just shooting on all those who depose him. Depose him? Oppose him. Very few things could actually depose Bizzle in his beloved Marauder 2. That thing was a monster. We used to play Mech Warrior 5 on the Xbox Game Pass. Bizzle used to love his Marauder 2. Perfectly outfitted. Couldn't fit any more double heat sinks into it if we tried. And we tried. Marauder! No, I barely knew her. Anyway, so we got some of the startings of the hazard stripes. I just give the black time to dry. Don't want to put the yellow down and have it rinse over to the black. Move over and taste. That would not do at all. Morbo and Emanog, my two lovely um, mods. Can you give shout outs to each other? See who gets it off first. Try and move the Marauder or it's not going to get paint on it. But it can't stop around. Right, so while they're drying, we want to want them to dry so I can do the yellow on their bases. I also want to pick out some of their lasers, just in a red. But first off, I'm going to do some dry brushing on this. Using toxic boils again, because I tend to use toxic boils a lot. So if you type /shoutout and then the person's name, it should work. That doesn't work. I'll do it myself. Bit unrecognized command. Let's see if this works. Okay, well, that one worked. Okay, so it takes a couple of minutes before I can give another shout out, but when I do the next shout out, give a shout out to Morblicious. It's also Critical Corvus is another one to follow. Oh, I've knocked all the mechs down. Yeah, see, Bizzle's on it. He's what's hip. He's what's happening. Oop. Emanog. Emanog is very witchy. Witchy axolotl. It was well worth following. Um, she streams delightful, chill little games. Whereas Morbo tends to stream things a little bit more fast paced and terrifying to himself. Because he likes to bring joy to other people by terrifying himself. Not bright enough. Yeah, you definitely need to get a camera sorted, Corvus. And then if you're not really better than me at painting, we can do a painting stream together. But if you're like really better than me, then we can't do. I'm busy then. Um, I don't mind people being slightly better than me. It's just embarrassing when they're completely better than me. You work away, Emanog. This is during the working week. So you work away. Okay, so that's given us a bit of a nicer look. This could bring a bit of a finish to it. Yeah, shout out to Critical Corvus. I noticed there's no shout out to More Malicious yet because he's feeling self conscious. Yeah, and as Corvus said, you can always paint worse. I know because I do it all the time. Not that I'm a bad painter, just I have definitely painted worse than I can do at times. You gone back to some of your work and you just gone, well, what was it doing? I don't know what I was doing. I always consider my own painting to be a tabletop standard level, and I'm not sad about that. That's absolutely fine. I occasionally have things I pick up and I want to go closer and do more detail. Moreover, you and your therapist need to have a good chat because your therapist obviously doesn't understand you much at all. Okay, so we're going to go right to left because that's how we actually did the black on them. So they should be most dry from the right to the left. What we're going to do is we're going to just put some of this Cassandor yellow on it because that just helps tint it. So we can do this in a couple of stages because I don't want it to be I don't want it to be a bright yellow. So I don't want it to kind of take away from the rest of the model. It's going to be very desaturated. So these are going to go on a couple of layers. Just provide a little bit of guidance to where the front of the mech is. So it's very pale now. As it dries, we'll be able to get on another set I'll just kind of reinforce that color a bit. Much like the vehicles themselves, the mechs themselves, we don't want it to be too bright. He says, painting purple and pink mechs. Yeah, I don't want them to be too bright. You know, some good camouflage. You don't know, there could be an alien planet. It's all purple and pink. They could fit in perfectly. My left thumb is a work of fucking beauty. And this is by far not the worst I've ever done to it. I have had paint kind of all the way up the entire thing. Especially if I'm airbrushing and I forget to bring any gloves out. Um, yeah, no, your hands can get pretty messed up when you're doing that. So I'm not sure how detailed I want to go in these cockpits. Either way, we've got the blue in for the cockpit. It's entirely focusing on my finger. Poor old Shane McGowan. Everything he's done over the many years has finally caught up with him, health-wise. Does that mean we're going to hear that Christmas song more or less this year? I know some people absolutely hate it. I quite like Christmas. I just don't like Christmas being too early. So if you see on the Marauder here, around the cockpit, we actually have these kind of white blue glazes to kind of show hints where the light would be touching things and bouncing off the edging off the reflections. I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna add more of that on the cockpit of the Urbanmechs because the Urbanmechs cockpit is so much tinier. There's so much less glass there. Makes it very hard to see. I'm just stunned by the other singer in that song was decapitated by a speedboat pushing her son out of the way. Not a joke. That sounds that sounds insane. It's amazing these sort of things happen. Right, so they're drying again. The mechs are drying up here, being watched over by our Marauder. Sorry, is the Marauder not in camera shot? The Marauder there, it's in camera shot. So that's grand. So people at least know which way the mechs are facing. And we managed to start dry brushing the base of this beastie. Um, I've gone ahead and filled in the black in there, so it's no longer unpainted. So what do we think first? Do I try finish off the base or more the green? The green will be matching the base of its other brother, so the two of them will have quite similar bases in the end. Yes, I've got My Legion of the Damned list has two dreadnoughts in it. Um, did I buy that one or to get that? I think I got this one free from a friend, and I bought this one. I'm just obsessed with mechs. What can I say? Is the mini new? No, I think I showed him a couple of times on stream. That's literally a sawn through uh, Ashmeltarm Sentinel, which it hurt me to my soul to actually saw through an entirely usable model. But I really wanted a cool thing for him to stand on. Yeah, these dreads, the Redemptor dreads, are massive. I could do custom builds of my Dark Tide characters. I have been tempted to, mainly to do my Ogren, and I actually have print files for some of the Ogren things, but they are, I don't have access to a printer, but I might look into it. Flump is just he's so he's so joyful. He's just happy to be in the army. Morbilicious, Bizzle, and Critical Corvus have all had the joy of running with Flump. He's a good guy. Just wants his nosh. Don't shake a bottle so hard that you might let it fall out of your hands. So this is Game Color Fluorescent Green. I really want more of the fluorescent paints. Yeah, it's one of the lines Flump refers to a lot is nosh. He's a hungry ogre. Yeah, running with Flump could be a very different way, but it depends on how you actually phrase it. It could be quite joyful. My days running with Flump. Or this is the sad tale of the boy who would run with Flump. Flump himself was quite happy. Sadly, all the people he trampled on the way were less so happy. So this green is quite ridiculously bright, and then I'm going to layer it up once it dries with some. It's called warp something like that. It's a contrast paint. Oh, it's Tesseract Glow. Tesseract Glow goes over it then once you shake the bottle about 1,000 times, and then it brings out that kind of nice, eerily toxic look. Kind of gets you a bit of I don't want to go for a swim in that. But a lot of the bases in the army have that kind of eerie goop to them. This is why I wanted to get the purple and pink finished first for the rest of the base, so it doesn't overlap into this stuff as much. Because that's the last thing we need is having all of this finished and having a few spotches of something else come into it, and then you're having to redo it. Not too worried about the overlap around the base here at the moment because we're going to be doing all the rims of all the bases black when we get to that stage. And I'm going to be doing that for the entire army. Most of the army is not finished that way. As a matter of fact, I found one of the Marines just didn't have any black around his base at all. Some of them have had a bit of tidy up, but not complete, and then some of them have just had nothing. Yeah, Tesseract Glow is it settles so fast. Whatever way the pigments are mixed in it, it's just instantly settles. And that's not what you need in a paint. It's not well. There's nothing squat about Flump. He's a big lad. He eats his rations and he kills heretics. That's what he do. Yeah, it will look quite well on Noise Marine blasters. I'm still salty that Noise Marines don't use guitars like they used to. I get the idea of why they moved away from it, but the salt is real. Okay, so we've got that base drying now. We've got our bases are drying on these, but we want to try to pick out some of the reds on them. Indicated lasers. I assure you, those heretics had it coming, Bizzle. They got in the way of a wolf charge. It's their own fault. Well, you know, Bizzle, you are the only person I know who's actually playing or collecting Noise Marines. So what you decide is probably the better choice. If no, everyone else can decide whatever they like or not, but they're not actually collecting Noise Marines. At this point, Corvus pops in and says, "Oh, actually, I've had Noise Marines since 18 Dickety Doo. Mine all play banjos." All right, so we see this little laser here down along the side. Is that's actually a small laser, and literally is that's the type of laser it is. It's not that I'm just calling it small, and it just needs just a little splotch of color, just to give it that bit of a standout. I think a Noise Marine with a pair of cymbals would be quite good. Just run out and clashing them on people. Oh, do you know what we need? We need Noise Marines with banjos, so they can just go go do dueling banjos at people. Noise Marines and their sonic weaponry. What will they think of next? Champion on the Glockenspiel. They need a Land Raider just to hold around the drummer's kit. Has anyone done a Mad Max Fury Road conversion of a Noise Marine just hanging off the front of a Rhino? Slapping the bass. Oh, there's an Emperor's Children group. Is that up on the Book of Faces? So would creatures in the Warhammer 40k universe be worried about hell or the warp, or do they just consider it the same thing? Yeah, I think they'd be considered closely the same thing, alright. You don't want to go to either. That's a happy, fun place to be. Yeah, well, in the warp, you don't just die, do you? You get eaten. Your soul gets devoured but never properly killed. I suppose depending on which writer is doing it. Okay, so that's added some nice colour to our little Urbanmechs. I said I'm going to wait for these to dry a bit more before I actually do anything on them. But adding even just the red dots in for the lasers, the targeting lasers, I think adds a bit of definition to them. They feel a bit more finished to me. And then we've got the awesome. The awesome is just super happy that it's actually a mech called an awesome. Because who doesn't want that? It is actually a pretty good mech though as well. So yeah, it's got that going for it. I'm thinking of trying to do something with the rounded shoulder pads. They got perfect round circles in there, which must be got to be able to do something on them, right? Although I'm possibly setting up myself some tiny freehand. Yeah, Grey Knights seem to be liked by their writers, but there is I have issues with various Black Library writers because some of them don't know the actual context of what they're writing. I remember starting to read one book once, and it was saying how the Space Marines were shooting away with their las guns. I was just instantly like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Made me lose all faith. Skulls. We have skulls. Skulls should be painted. So I think that's what we're going to do, just to give this a little bit more time to dry before we do another coating on it. Going on hard mode by bringing torches to fight things. Don't get me wrong, enough torches kill things. That's how las guns work. It's just not quite the same, is it? Yes, Bizzle, I know you're a big fan of your las gun, but you're an inquisitorial veteran. You don't use no standard las gun. Yeah, I don't understand why they would think all marine chapters want to be the Ultramarines. Oh my god, I just swiped off. This is why you shouldn't paint models while they've got drying paint on them. Now let's try that again without touching the base several times. I am a total walnut. Fortunately, people are massively allergic to me. And there's no need to call people plum cobblers. There's things we can't take back. Afternoon, ads and Mark. Yeah, Ultramarines are very divisive. I know some people who are genuinely fans of theirs, but not felt it myself. We've done some work on some Battletech minis at the moment who are drying here. We've added in lasers, and we've added in the start of our hazard stripes to point out the front hex, which I think is only really relevant when you're playing the original Battletech rules, but some people are into that. So while that's working, I thought I'd apply the first of the coats to our bones on the dread. Right, there we go. Bizzle and ads both use Ultramarines the same way as corpses. Hero. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I'm not generally a Space Marine fan. That's why my Space Marines are all from a faction that doesn't have any official rules. We're painting Legion of the Damned so we can just mess around with things. I can play any rule set I want with them. And just enjoy it. But I only play against mates anyway who aren't going to be bothered. We are painting mechs today, Ro. So we've got some much smaller mechs that we've done some painting on already. Now we're painting a different scale of mech. Which, if they were the same scale as these ones would be huge compared to this one. But as for the actual models, this one's so much bigger. Yeah, the Space Marine video games were very good. Sorry, the first one was very good. I actually haven't played the second one yet. I really enjoyed it. It felt stompy enough to be a game running around in the marine. You didn't need to hide behind cover so much. Just kind of ran at the horde. good chainsword effect. Though by far my favourite combo in the first Space Marine game was you could get a jump back, you could get a bolter with a perk you could use in one hand, and a thunder hammer. What more do you want? Yeah, the multiplayer mode was quite fun. I hope they bring out kind of a Hordes type mode with it. Really like the Hordes mode in Gears of War. It's good fun. Both the one versus other people controlling the Horde and just kind of just generally against seeing how long you could hold out against various different hordes. So it was a bit of fun. Does anyone know what the actual release day of that is? Space Marine 2? I don't know if it's out on, maybe it's out on PC and just not out on console yet. I am personally looking forward to Baldur's Gate coming out on console, or Xbox anyway. Gonna start a party up for that. $2024? I'd heard it was going to be out before Christmas. Oh no. This is what you get, Rory, when you try to read chat at the same time. So if ever you do make a mistake like that, if you quickly get a wet brush, apply it to the area, and then you can get a cloth, some kitchen roll or anything like that, and you can quickly actually take that off. That's true, Mark. 2024 will have Christmas as well. And if it's not coming out this year, then it just means I've got more Darktide to play. Is that Emenog person back again? Emmy, can you do me a favour? Can you shout out more Malicious channel? Because he won't do it himself. Please. Thank you, Emmy. We already did a shout out for Emnog. There's also Rodo and Ads in the chat, or two other streamers. Well worth a follow. Bro, you may be a bellend, but you're my bellend, so that's okay. That sounds really weird now, actually, when I think about it. Nobody clipped that. You are a bell end Morvo, but we're used to you. I'm kidding. We're not used to you. Who doesn't like a bit of chaos? Well, the Imperium. Urbanmech, oh Urbanmech, you are so pretty. Just not very good. Yeah, I saw you got your new chair, Emmy. How's it helping the back? Glad to hear. I mean, I sit on an apple crate here. Seems to work. I only cry occasionally. Yeah, each splinter is just affection. Don't get much human contact, okay? Oh, thank you. Model is off cam. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I get carried away with that sort of thing. Oh, thank you, Ro, for subscribing. Most welcome. Never needed it, but it's always nice to see. Most kind. I think what Emmy meant to say was you beat me to it, not you beat me. At least that's what I hope. There we go. Look, some clever person left it so I can actually take the gun off. Makes it much easier to handle. Oh, no kink shaming here. Someone enjoys it, we'll leave them to it. If the chair smells funny, you may want to have a shower. You've been you've been enjoying your chair too much, I think. Have you gotten out of it since you set it up? Amy is a strong, independent streamer. She don't need no man. But on the other hand, um, not hurting yourself setting up would have been a bit better. Who knew chairs could be just so dangerous? I was asked if I'm going to be setting up a Discord for this channel, and I'm not. Um, Everyone seems to offer a Discord these days, and I don't have the time to go into other people's Discords, let alone my own one. Oh, that's gone very dry and chalky. Okie dokie, but that is just where we're going to wrap it up for the day, folks. Um, as the as Row and as violence upon each other. We'll leave that particular dispute to happen off stream. Okay, folks, so we're going to call it there. Thanks for joining me. We've got some work done on our dread. We've thankfully got some work done on our mechs. So I really like them. They're pretty much a playable level now. Really like the scheme and how it's come together. We've got the awesome, the big brother there, and some of the little mechs ready to bring the shooty. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming along. And no one ever needs to worry about coming along late or whenever they come along. It's all good. It's nice to see people. Schedule doesn't work for everybody, and that's okay. So thank you for all coming and hanging out. I don't think we're going to raid anyone. I don't know if I have anyone to raid at the moment. No, I've got someone here we can raid. Let's go raid a random person. No idea who this person is, so we're going to go raid them. Mac raid. So I'm just going to change the offline screen quickly. We're going to raid another person who's just working away. Let's raid.